This could change everything about MLB The Show 25. Of course, we got the big news, the big reveal that sets and seasons are gone from MLB 25 for Diamond Dynasty, and they also gave us a couple tidbits on different modes. But this is very interesting. So, ShowZone tweeted out this survey that's been going around. Personally, I have not received this myself yet, or else we would do it, but it'll come. But it's been making rounds, and there are radical ideas and proposals by the devs for MLB The Show 25. And now these are not guaranteed to happen. It's simply, but they want to see if people would actually want these things in the game. So let me know in the comment section what you guys think. And if you guys have the survey, please make sure and fill it out. Here we go. So where do I want to be? Up here? Is that fun? Yeah, we'll be right there. Card cosmetics. New alternative card skins that can unlock to change the look of existing cards in the game. Example, if you require a milestone Kenley Jansen, you could also acquire a special alternative skin that would look different than the base version of the card. Now, I think Madden has something like this, as far as I know, or at least they used to, where you would have like a Deion Sanders card, and I believe you could actually kind of pick what team he was in uniform with. Of course, theme teams in Madden, every team that Deion ever played for, you get credit. So that's the 49ers, the Cowboys, the Falcons, the Ravens, every team that he was on. Whereas in MLB, at least right now, it's just whatever cap you're wearing on that card art. So this is interesting, and to be honest, pretty much anything cosmetic I'll probably be for. We've seen in other games that cosmetics are an easy way for companies to make money, and if they can find money in that to get us new legends, opposed to trying to get us to buy packs and make the game mode pay to win, I would be all for cosmetics if that's the choice. DD Commissioner. A new feature where the commissioner changes the core baseball and team building rules for all players in Diamond Dynasty every 2 weeks. For example, the DH is no longer available and pitchers must hit. As a user, you have to influence voting power to help determine which changes get implemented. Now, that's one example, right? There could be so many things that could be proposed. This is a proposal for proposals, essentially. I do think this could be very interesting, but I could also see it potentially going sour. You know, someone doesn't like what change has been implemented. You know, they might not want to play. I think what you could do, you could almost have people vote, let's say events. You could almost have people vote on the event game modes, not all in Diamond Dynasty. Because if somebody just wants to sit back and play like they normally do with their regular squad, they shouldn't have to go away from that. But this kind of concept where we determine rules, this is what I've been talking about. Again, Madden, it's not like I love Madden or anything, but they've got house rules, a game mode which the rules are constantly changing. Maybe it's like there's only one first down that you get throughout the whole football field. Something like that. Or you play the game immediately when you hop in, it's college rules. It's tied in, whoever wins a college overtime is the winner of the game. So if you could bring that sort of thing into MLB The Show, I would love it. Just make it its own mode. So far, a pretty big fan of these. One-dimensional card series. A new card series where the player has very high attributes in one area of play while having poor attributes in all others. Example, a great hitter, but terrible speed and fielding. I'm not really a fan of this. Personally, one thing I really like about, especially early game MLB The Show where we used to be, and we should be back to, now that sets and seasons are gone, is that a player plays like they actually do in real life. You know, Frank Thomas, He is a great hitter with terrible speed and fielding. That's just who he is. I don't need to see you make a Bobby Witt Jr. card that's a great hitter, but with terrible speed and fielding. I guess they kind of do that. They nerf Bobby Witt's fielding, for example, on his home run derby card. I just don't like this. Make the guys play like they do in real life. It's actually something that I really hated about MLB 23 is everybody had max overall teams about 1 month in, and then since all the cards are pretty much 99 overalls that are coming out, everybody's outfield is almost max speed, diamond shield defense, and it starts to make these things not as special. When I want the best of the best to really shine. Again, I talk about it a lot. Guys like Ozzie Smith, he should be so good defensively compared to most other shortstops that you would actually potentially play him in lieu of his awful offense. So, no, I can't. I really don't want that. Gameplay visual unlockables. New unlockables that can alter visual aspects of gameplay. Example, a pumpkin baseball that turns the ball game into a pumpkin. A golden cleat that unlockable that turns your cleats into solid gold. It sounds like cheat codes. Back in the day, back in my day, there used to be cheat codes that you'd have to find out. There'd be like gaming magazines that you could get that have all the different cheat codes. I remember MLB 2005 with Eric Chavez. That was one of the games I really grew up on. There's cheat codes to get a giant baseball. Didn't really affect gameplay. It was just giant baseball. You could also have fart noises. So, I don't know. This seems a very Fortnite-y thing. I guess there should be a setting. If you want to see this, you can have that toggle on. If you don't, maybe you don't have to see it. It's interesting. Is it going to actually get people to spend money on these things? I don't know. But again, it's possible, and I'd rather that than pay-to-win aspects. Duo Diamond Card Series, a new card series where 2 players are on the card art, with each having their own player item. When both player items are in your starting lineup, they get a slight attribute boost. Now, I think they probably come up with this idea because if you guys have Topps cards or whatever, there's lots of cards that feature multiple players on them. Like Topps now, for example. Yeah, how many times at MLB The Show do you look at a card and there's someone in the background of it, right? I don't know. It's kind of interesting. Now, the way this is explaining, you would have to get both the cards, obviously. It's not like you get one card that has Shohei and Mookie on it and automatically you get both of them. You'd have to have both, but then you get some sort of a boost. Interesting, I guess. Do we need it? Probably not. Retro Draft Card Series. The new card series that features players on draft day or at their first spring training. Attributes are affected by their original scouting grades on the 20 to 80 scale, and art is a mix of old logos and new logos depending on when the player was drafted. Example, the Expos versus the Nationals. I guess that's kind of cool, kind of interesting. They kind of have this, you would think, like with their prospect series, this would just be looking back before they started doing these cards in MLB The Show, because that is generally what they would have their attributes be based off of, before they actually start playing in the minor leagues. You're just going based off, I guess, what they did in college or high school, and it's kind of determined a lot of times by the scouts what they grade these players at. Again, it's an interesting concept. Not sure if we need it. Mastery badges, new visual items such as profile badges, icons, uniforms, bat skins, or socks that you can earn and display based on your usage or skill with the player. For example, hitting 50 homers for bronze, 100 homers for silver. Sure. We started off hot. Like, this one's fine, I guess. I don't really care, for a new profile badge. If they didn't have Twins ones, I don't think I'd even have one equipped. But fine, I guess someone's got to be interested in that. Rival Diamond card series, a new card series where a player is highlighted on card art with the rival team or player. When you have the player in your lineup, they get an attribute boost when facing a player of the rival team. I looked at these all before I started recording just to kind of get like a general idea of what they might be. This one I'm a little bit confused by. A card series where a player's highlighted on card art with a rival team or player. So, like a Garrett Cole card with Rafael Devers on it. And if you have Rafael Devers, you get a boost against Garrett Cole. I don't know. I think they could have worded that a lot better. Again, a lot of these I think would almost be too confusing for their own right. You know, sometimes you can just leave things a little bit more simple. I agree that MLB The Show 22 and prior, it was getting kind of stale. You know, the formula didn't really change, but I think a lot of that has to do with the gameplay kind of getting stagnant, not really doing anything different on that front. The game modes, we've talked about that so much. They haven't had a new online game mode since MLB The Show 17. You know, I think those might be a little bit more pressing of issues. Like the commissioner thing, I think would help out DD a lot more than rival card series art. College card series, so kind of like Campus Heroes and Madden, a new card series that celebrates existing current day MLB players by having college versions of said players. For example, Paul Skeens, could have an LSU card. Now, I don't think some people are going to read way too far into this saying, oh my God, college is confirmed for MLB The Show 25. Now, they did mention in Road to the Show, deepen the player's journey before being drafted. It's possible that we could see actual colleges, actual universities, and you get to start your Road to the Show career in college. That's possible, but this does not confirm that by any stretch. They could easily just put Paul Skeens in a white jersey with the purple cap and yellow accenting, right? Cool. I like the idea. It's cool enough. Double PXP tokens. Yeah. Talked about this so much. We get double XP so often. Where's the double PXP? At least to me, especially with the sets and seasons, it is very hard for me to actually parallel 5 any of my cards because it takes a lot of time to use them. Double PXP tokens sounds awesome. I would 1000% be for this. Purchasable perks. New perks that have gameplay effects throughout Diamond Dynasty, similar to the current perks in Showdown. Each Diamond Dynasty card would have a set of perks that a user can choose to purchase and equip. Fuck no! I hate stuff like this. It's like in 2K's My Park where they have those Gatorade boosts. This could so easily go down the pay-to-win route, where if you needed so many stubs or whatnot to get these perks, and all of a sudden they were so overpowered, everybody's using them online, that it's kind of a prerequisite that you have to have them. Very dangerous road to go down. And again, keep things simple. Why do you need this sort of thing? That's just them being lazy when they could improve the quirk system on the cards. Be like, oh, how about you purchase them? Fuck off. Really don't like that one. Home run belt, a new WWE style belt that is added around a player who hit a home run in their last at bat, lasting until they record an at bat without one. Again, this would kind of be in the same vein as the pumpkin baseball. Just imagine like Prince Field, his gut is hanging over the belt. And, he's just on a tear. He's hitting 3 straight home runs and he's just got the WWE John Cena spinner belt. Could be fun. I'm not sure. Rogue card series. The new card series where the card starts at a low overall and slowly upgrades by completing missions with the player. Once all of the missions are completed, the card increases by 1 overall, and then a new set of missions become available to complete and do the process over again. So, kind of like, evolution cards in a way, or prestiges back in MLB 20. He's, let's say, a 70 overall bronze, and you get stat missions that if you can complete, he's up to a 71, and you get another set to get him up to a 72. Could be interesting. I don't hate it. Actually, I think these could be kind of interesting. I've mentioned this plenty of times before since they kind of took out those evolution cards. Think back to MLB The Show 16. If you played back then, you could pull in packs like a rookie Joe Mauer or rookie Jose Reyes. And if you got those cards, you would have to get X amount of hits with Joe Mauer, and he would end up becoming like a 97 overall. He'd be really good. I kind of like this. Just think, if you scattered tons and tons of legend players with their rookie cards or something, and, you play with them enough, I'm probably going to be subjected to offline grinding to get these done if the players are just not very good at the start. Interesting. I don't mind it. PSA grading. I've heard a lot of people talk about this one. Rare new versions of player cards that have similar attributes to the base card but have special card art. For example, a signature or embedded piece of the player's jersey, similar to real-life baseball cards, of course, and serialized limited quantities. These items will be scarce and in high demand for collectors in Diamond Dynasty. Yeah, I don't mind stuff like this. I definitely think there's a lot of people who would find it cool. I would prefer that they were not boosted up attribute-wise, I think. Let's say a chase card, right? For example, let's say there was an Ellie De La Cruz chase card. If you bought him on the market, he would just be regular chase card Ellie De La Cruz, but you could pull, there's like 99 that you could pull in packs that would have an autograph on it, for example. Or it would have, he's in the case and it's graded PSA 10. Kind of thing is cool. Again, I don't want it to be where that version is significantly better than the other one. I think they could be the same attribute. It's just cool that you have an autographed one. You know what I mean? Yeah, neat idea. I don't mind that one. Prop bets. A new feature where you can make predictions on real-life baseball events for rewards. For example, home run derby prop bets where users select who they think will win, and if they are correct, they can earn stubs or a really good version of the player they bet on. They actually kind of had something like this back in the day. I think like MLB 18, there was actually tokens that you could predict who you think was going to win the home run derby. I think they let you do it for the playoffs too, the World Series. I know Madden back in the day, you also could predict winners and you get X amount of coins for each one correct. Yeah, I think this would be pretty cool. I'm not going to lie. As long as you don't actually have to put like money or stubs in, which I feel like they definitely could say, it's like a 1,000 stub entry fee or whatever. This would be a fun little side thing to do to connect video game and real life baseball. So that is definitely interesting to me. Icon challenges, new gameplay challenges with unconventional requirements. Example, hit 100 triples. Tally 10 home runs with players with less than 40 power that you can complete to earn vanity items such as profile badges. You guys know how I feel about that. I don't care. I couldn't give a shit less about the badges and icons, so go run wild, I suppose. Online mini-seasons. A new way to play the mini-seasons mode that allows you to join your friends or a random league to compete in an online mini-season. Teams are created via fantasy draft and trades are allowed. Now, if they did this, I'd assume they'd just scrap the current custom leagues that is there for Diamond Dynasty, kind of their, somewhat online franchise, even though it's got 1/100th of the features that it could. fine. I guess I would rather you just put an online franchise, to be completely blunt, but clubs, a social group within Diamond Dynasty where you can collaborate with club members on missions and compete against other clubs for rewards. Very fun, kind of like clans, I guess, in mobile games, or I guess you kind of had those like in. You don't really get anything in Call of Duty. People just have like their gamer tag or whatever. I like the idea that, say, you and 3 other buddies are part of a club, and whoever hits the most home runs, my friend group versus your friend group, somehow gets rewards. I'm not exactly sure how you'd implement that, but it's a cool idea. DD Stat Tracker, a new feature where cards from packs will have a chance to have one of their stats be tracked for the lifetime of the card and displayed on the front of the card. Example, a card could have a home run stat tracker displayed on it, which could increment each time the player hits a home run. I don't really know what to say. That's fine, I guess. It's sort of interesting. I don't think it's really necessary. Then finally, Team Affinity Attribute Multiplier. A new attribute boost that activates if a player is showing affinity towards their favorite team. Example, equipped with their favorite team's bat skin, playing at their favorite team's stadium, etc. These boosts may apply to all attributes or be designated to a specific attribute. I feel like people have kind of talked about this for a while. Like me as a Twins fan, if I was to play at Target Field, I assume so, right? Like if I have Joe Mauer on my team and I'm playing at Target Field or the Metrodome, he gets some sort of power boost, something. I don't know. It's interesting. And if it means less people are going to play at fucking Shieldwoods, I would be all for it. So, yeah, very interesting video. I saw that on my Twitter feed, and it was way better than I could have expected. Like I said, I haven't gotten the survey yet myself, but when I do, I'll definitely relay the thoughts and opinions I had here, and I suggest that you guys do the same. Fill out the survey. At the end of the day, even if you don't like some of the ideas, I like that the devs are doing this. Definitely someone got a light bulb that came off in their head, and they're looking to get opinions on it, see if it's even worth, discussing with the team or anything. And if they find out that players might actually want that, then they can spend more time actually workshopping and potentially implementing it into MLB The Show 25 or another game. Now, if I had to pick my favorite thing that they talked about today, is this one, the DD Commissioner. Because that's exactly what I've said. The events mode has gotten so boring. It really was plagued these last 2 years with the sets and seasons, where sometimes the whole purpose of the event was just, oh yeah, you can use the cards that you earned. Wow, man, thanks. I really appreciate it. You get moonshot like 5 times throughout the year, and a lot of times I feel like the event just isn't really anything that interesting, right? It's almost the same thing. But this has the chance to not only let you kind of choose, sort of like selecting your map on Call of Duty, but you could also, have different experiences. Where, the DH, we haven't seen that since 2022. Having pitchers bat in Diamond Dynasty. Stuff like that is really interesting. And that kind of thing I would definitely like to see implemented. Otherwise, a lot of the things they talked about here were cosmetic or aesthetic things. Don't really change much to Diamond Dynasty. Some people like it. Some people might not care for it. So I guess you're kind of at a crossroads there. But interesting stuff. Like I said, make sure and do that survey. I would imagine it's still going to be a little bit until we hear concrete news about MLB The Show 25, but once we do, I'll definitely talk about it here. And again, as I've mentioned a lot of times, we will have videos talking about how I would fix and improve both franchise, Road to the Show, and probably some things with gameplay as well. So thank you guys for watching, and happy Thanksgiving. Gobble up some turkey for me.